So the last thing I did was the cryotherapy. I was a little scared. I've never done anything like that.
Mhm,
When I was in Switzerland, I did go in a cold plunge pool, and when I say in it, I walked in and I walked out. I did not
mhm.
stay in it. And then when I wash my hair, I end
Neat.
with at least 10 seconds of cold water. But I would
Oh,
like to
terrific.
know the cryotherapy. They're like, "Oh, you want your body temperature to drop." And they were
Mm,
like, "Whoa, yours dropped a lot." They asked me what kind of music I wanted, and I was like, "I don't know, spa music." And they were like,
mhm.
"I don't think this girl knows what she's doing." So I'm guessing me standing still is what made me drop my temperature
Definitely,
so much.
definitely, but I give you a lot of credit for that because that's actually I love that. That's a highly recommended approach from someone like me is put your body in that state, put your body in that stressor and learn to manage it. And it's part mental, it's part physical, but it's part of the therapy itself. So you probably dropped more than 30 degrees. 30 degrees skin temperature drop is kind of typical for most people. That's sort of our gauge is did you get to 30? If not, we could probably go for a higher setting. But if you got past 30, we're good. Let's keep it here.
Holding the speaker, I was like, there's something about the vibration of the speaker where, like,
Mm,
that was my zen. That speaker is getting me through it, but yeah, I
yep.
stayed as still as possible.
That's amazing. And now, can I ask you a question? What did you think of your tolerance to the cold chamber versus cold plunge versus cold water?
The cold plunge, I was in full control. I did it. I walked in, I when I
Hmm.
wanted to get to my shoulder, and I walked out. As for the cryotherapy, 1, I appreciate the bars that, like, tell you
Hmm.
how far you go because I
Yep.
am that person of, like, I need to see my progress,
Hmm.
and knowing that I will not give up if someone's watching me, and so that was the difference, was the cold plunge,
I
it
like
was up
that.
to me, I got in, I got out, and the
Mhm.
cryotherapy was like, "Someone's on the other side of the store, they're watching me, I am not walking out of this before it's over," and so that was the difference for me.
Yeah, that's I could go on a whole tangent about that comment you just made because I think that's what's huge about having places to go for whether it's fitness, spirituality, in modalities like ours, having a place to go creates that kind of social responsibility towards it because the other people there are doing the same and you feel like you have to do it. And I think that's a really good thing because, build our home gyms or we put a cold plunge in our backyard, they seem to not get used as much. And it's because you could easily talk yourself out of it if nobody's there to hold you accountable. So it's that accountability factor I think is huge with having a destination. I got here, I walked through the door. Now I'm definitely going to do it.
Yeah, I
Um,
agree with that for sure. I've seen this cold plunge pool in the house, and that was my first thought was,
mm,
"That's great," but I don't think I would use it. I think I
yeah.
would look at it and be like, "Well, that's a beautiful thing to look at. I'm not gonna get inside of it." But knowing if I walked in through the door, like, "I'm going to do this, I'm gonna do it, I have people to keep me accountable,
Hmm.
and I'm gonna push myself through." So I do agree with that for sure.
To get back to your original question, yeah, cryotherapy, it's pretty much my go to. It's probably the service I use more frequently than anything else. I'd say the most significant benefit I get is on the recovery from fitness, although I usually dedicate it towards recovery from my exercise. It's recovery from my day. I have a busy job. I'm kind of on the go quite frequently. I have lots of conversations, and then I go use whatever last energy I have in the gym, and then I get to do my cryo session and kind of resets me. So what's happening is you're putting a stressor on your body and your body goes into a fight or flight response. So you have a parasympathetic and a sympathetic nervous response to that. And your initial one is fight or flight. So your body has to protect itself. And when it does that, certain hormones are released. So you're releasing norepinephrine, which is going to help fend off inflammation. And then you're going to release endorphins. And that's like feel good feeling you get afterwards as if you worked out. So your body during that time is going to do everything it can to fight off inflammation. And then later on in the day, several hours beyond your cryo session, you're actually going to get that parasympathetic response. You're going to go into that rest and digest mode. So a lot of people actually sleep a lot better when they're doing cryotherapy. I'm one of those people. So I tend to sleep a lot better on the days that I do cryo versus the days I don't, because after my body comes out of that high from fight or flight, I go into that relaxation, rest and digest mode, and I get much more calm. I go to sleep easier. You're actually helping your body naturally release more melatonin than it normally would. So it really kind of resets your body. There's also a lot of longevity benefits to, well, both the hot and cold. So I kind of mentioned it with the sauna and it's the same with the cold. And really our bodies have evolved for a long time to be exposed to stressors, to be exposed to cold winters, to be exposed to hot summers and just learn how to manage it. And a body that gets stressed will be more prepared to go into to trigger longevity genes and trigger these hormones that are going to help our bodies deal with the day-to-day stressors. And there's a lot of new science coming out that's really showing that, whether it's cryotherapy, whether it's a cold plunge, whether it's saunas, but putting your body through certain stresses are really aiding in longevity.